Okay, so let's start. Welcome to K8SUG Australia, the 36th edition of the Australia Meetup here in Melbourne. Our numbers just keeping growing. We are more than 25,000 members in the Meetup, and we are with a footprint globally. I would like to start by acknowledge the country. We, K8SUG Australia, respectfully acknowledge the traditional land of Kulin Nation people, and we pay respect to the elders, the past, the present, and the emerging. So if you are here for the first time, or you are here for the second time, or you're already familiar with here, please scan this QR code and then you can share with us photos. We changed recently that this QR code now give you a link of links. So we don't need to have one QR code for everything. We have just one QR code, and from there you have your gateway. So please take photos. All the photos will be also in the same folder shared with you. And let's make this event memorable. No worries, the QR code will be in the next slide as well. Just a little bit of the agenda today. What we're gonna have discussed. So I hope you are aware we have the KubeCon Europe running right now, starting today. And we will have a session today to discuss a little bit what is the trends on there. I have invited my friend Hash and Jorge as well to be part of this discussion. And I hope you enjoy what it is KubeCon and what you should expect for the cloud native this year. And we will have a session from Lasith about the Kubernetes more than what meets the eye. So please enjoy. We have a quiz time. Hope you enjoy the quiz time. If you are here for the first time, let me just tell you, pay attention to the talks. We have some questions in the end, and if you score well and quickly, you can get some swags. And we have really nice swags like free access to the code cloud platform. We have vouchers for exam as well. And we have the flash from SUSE. So yeah, pay attention. And in the end of the event, we also have our open mic, okay? So if you have anything to want to say, to share, if you're looking for a job or if you're hiring, please use this time to say something. And our traditional group photo in the end as well. So our mission here in K8SUG, our mission is to empower the community. I am one of these person in the community that got empowered. So we make you learn fast to get certified cheaper and to get stronger with your careers. So we are now the KubeStrongers. Please follow us and use this hashtag in your social posts. All these events could not happen without our volunteers. And I'm part of this team, and I'm really happy that all this space here that it is helping our team, not just here in Australia, in Melbourne, but Sydney, and the team keeping growing. If you also want to join this team of volunteers, I believe in that links that you have in this QR code, you can fill a form to join us. So thank you, our volunteers and organizers. Our main sponsors today for this event, for the venue is AWS, and for the catering was SUSE, and we have the Code Cloud supporting us. Thank you. So yeah, we have the new K8SUG. So just to give an introduction a little bit, we started in 2022 in Singapore and come to Australia, Canada, United Kingdom. Then we opened Australia in Sydney, then Philippines, and now in India. And the India event was crazy. It was like thousands come to the event. So the numbers there is totally different. But it's really nice to have keeping growing and helping the community. So this is some of our next events. So if you happen to be in any of these continents, you can join our event as well. But here in Australia, on 10th of April, we'll have the Global AI Bootcamp. We are partner with another Meetups groups and bringing this event to you as well. So please take a look on this. Okay, so KubeAstronaut, who have heard about the KubeAstronaut? Rush, can you step up? Yeah. Yeah, so the KubeAstronaut is the recognition for those who got the 5 certifications in Kubernetes. And you get this amazing blue jacket. And this photo here is our founder, Yongkang, who will get to know more about it. Here in Australia, I believe now is 27, maybe 28 KubeAstronaut. 29, and it got reduced to 27. Yeah. Some of them might have expired there. So oh, yeah, probably they have a certain. Yeah, you need to have the 5 certifications and the 5 certifications be active, right? So you need to renew. And our community here in Australia, I believe we have the most KubeAstronauts. Me, myself, I'm a KubeAstronaut. We have Rush, we have Yongkang, we have Mark that's not here today, and Henry. They are also KubeAstronauts. And you don't need to do this paying the full price. Our motto is really yet you get certified cheaper. So please use these codes to get 30% discount. Sometimes we got more discount. And if you do the quiz in the end, you may get up to 50% discount, even maybe 100% discount. Who knows? So please use these codes for getting your certification and training as well. Because the KubeAstronaut program give us 5 vouchers for 50%, and our community keep to share. That's why we can share with you these vouchers, okay? So please join that. And Yongkang recently have started this new Share the Joy 100% campaign. So in April 22, we will have some voucher for certified Kubernetes administrator. Yep, please join this event as well. And another program that Yongkang had started is the astronaut that is the golden jacket. This one here. So if you have all that certifications of AWS, you can get this golden jacket. And yeah, I believe this is it. This is the link that you receive. And let's get back to Yongkang just a moment. So we will have these events up, sorry. This one. So we will have this virtual KubeCon. And this is about the trains that we're gonna have. And a little bit the agenda. We will have this live report from Yongkang coming soon. And just a little bit about what it is KubeCon. KubeCon is one of the biggest events of the cloud native community. We will have it attending more than 13,000 people in London. I believe it's the place that is easier for everyone around the world to join. And they will have 350 sessions across 3 days of events, 4 days of events, and divided in 9 different tracks with more than 150 projects the CNCF going. So this is a really rich event. And unfortunately, it's just in person. So you need to be there to get this experience. But afterwards, they have all the records of the sessions on their channel. So you can watch that. So another events that they have there is the co-locate events, like the ArgoCon, the CilioCon, the BackstageCon. Another is the events from the sponsors. SUSE is one of the sponsors of the KubeCon, the Cloud Native Con, and they held workshops, hands-on workshop, technical. AWS and Microsoft as well are golden or platinum sponsor, probably. And they held events in one day before and just the day that of the KubeCon, they have these events. So if you have opportunity to join this event, please go for this event. Sometimes here we had last year, I remember that Yongkang was giving away 1 or 2 tickets. You just need to pay your flight ticket, but the ticket for the event that is around the $1,000, $2,000, you can get for free sometimes. So without further ado, let's get the Yongkang report directly from KubeCon. Hey.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, they can hear.
Okay, you guys can hear me. Yeah, let me show you this first. So I am actually at the Ambassador CubeCon launch. So we are just having a breakfast. So you can see how many blue jackets over here, right? Yeah, my friend is here. Yeah, all of my friends, you see all the blue jackets. So Christopher, he is speaking right now. He's the guy behind of the CubeCon of product. Okay, let them continue their speech. So I want to give you guys a quick update. So this is outside, by the way. So we are here on top of the restaurant, and outside you can see more and more people coming for the events. Let me give you guys a quick update. So for those of you I'm not aware, actually, typically 2 days before the event officially starts, there will be another event. It's called Cloud Native Rejects. You know, you can meet a lot of awesome people. So the other day I met Kelsey Tower at Cloud Native Rejects. And one day before official start, we have what we call the solo events. Yeah, probably you guys saw the slides earlier. So that's another good thing. We have all different focus area, like the art of ESTO, age, etc. So what I did yesterday actually it's the whole event. I didn't join many of the sessions, but I just went to all the places and meet a lot of people. I went to one of these is called Navy University. So that was Moshana, who's the co-chair. Yeah, I met a lot of people. Some people are sharing their experience on how to get how they become a CKA dissection. So yeah, today actually shortly we will have a Q&A session with someone. And I'm thinking, let me check the timing. So that we start the keynote and it's 9 o'clock. So I should be able to have a little bit time to check you guys to have a vote tour of the solution test here, which is a unique opportunity, by the way. So you need to have a sponsor class to be able to have full access. Even people are outside here, you won't be able to see it. Okay, I'm gonna need a few minutes to walk in there. So I will keep my camera off now. And then once I will be there, I will back again. Okay. By the way, this is my badge. I'm so proud of spending my back. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon in a few minutes. So when I love my solution case here. Okay.
Thank you, Yongkang. Yes, it's mine. No worries. I was thirsty. But yeah, we have some update from Yongkang directly, and I would like to invite now George. Thank you, George. Yep. George, Rush, to get in the stage, and let's talk a little bit of KubeCon from someone who already went to KubeCon, I believe, last year, George.
Yes,
Yep. Now let me grab you the.
I don't have a blue jacket. I have a dark captain jacket. Yeah, I don't have
The mic is over there in the kitchen. I forgot.
Hello, everyone, welcome, and thanks, Thiago and Yongkang for the invite.
Yeah.
And let's talk about KubeCon.
Yeah. So let's
Hi
start.
guys, I'm Rashendra. This is the president from whole platform, core engineering platform at National Student Bank. I've got a few colleagues from this and glad to be part of this kind of session.
Jorge Arteiro from Microsoft. Thanks to AWS for having me.
Hey guys, just give me a few more seconds. I'm almost there.
Oh, he will be back. He will be back.
You want to show the
Oh, he will be back.
keynote that
Okay. He's going to the keynote, right?
the keynote, you know.
All right, guys. Can you hear me now?
Ah, that's a conference.
That's the boots. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we can hear you. It's getting laggy.
It's empty, except that they are getting ready to work.
Oh, people just loaded the people.
Hello. You can see, first of all, you can see, I think that's a Huawei and a Chenga. Most of them are, I think they are platinum sponsor. And on the right hand side, you can see JFrog. Yeah, JFrog is our sponsor earlier. Red Hat, Diamond sponsor. And behind of that, Microsoft Azure, also a Diamond sponsor. And the first one, that's HA proxy. I don't know if you guys know HA proxy. They are also one of the Diamond sponsor, by the way. And then next to that, that's the place. I probably spend a lot of time at this place. I don't know how many people are aware of the Akamai. Next to Akamai, hey, good morning, Lisa. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah. Do you want to say hello to our friends?
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm actually live. It's live. Okay, most of the time I'm actually spending my time here at Akamai. Good morning. Yeah. And the next to Akamai, also our friends Datadog. Okay, behind me, that's HA proxy. What else? Yeah, I think over there, that's that's the also one of the platinum sponsor. Yeah, in the short, it's a large, very large solution showcase here. Base, and I need to cross the corridor to see the other half. So there are a few more diamond sponsor and also platinum sponsor, plus gold and the silver sponsors, all at this place. So this is the isovalent, now part of Cisco.
Yes.
And next to that, that's Cost AI. I don't know if you guys know that. Cost AI, basically, it's the cost optimization tool. And then next to Cost AI, Octopus Deploy. So for all the, you guys probably heard of this company. It's a Brisbane-based Australian company, Octopus Deploy. They are mainly doing the continuous delivery, the CD side. That's only half of this. I don't know how much time we have. Let me have a look. So, yeah, I should have a few more minutes. Let me walk you through to the other side. So this is Excel. This is at Excel London. It's a relatively big exhibition space. So they got a south side and plus, north side. Right now, I was at the north side. You see all of the sponsors here. If I get out of here and cross the corridor, hey, good morning. And let me show you. I think AWS is in the other side. Let me have a look. So you can see that's the large place. So I'm pretty close, just cross the corridor. Let me walk through to the solution showcase area. Yeah, you need they need to check my badge.
Is it north or south?
No?
North or south? No, that's north.
Yeah.
This is south.
Yeah, I know this is all.
So you got.
Yeah, I'm coming this side.
Oh, you had that.
All right. Okay. This is the other half of the solution showcase area. So first of all, we see Oracle. Oracle is a diamond sponsor. I'm pretty sure. Next to Oracle, Heroku, they do, I don't really know. They're part of Salesforce now. Move to the left-hand side. Solo IO. Yeah, Solo IO also one of our friends. They sponsored our events in London earlier. And Google, my friends Google is on this side. They are diamond sponsor, by the way. And behind of the Google, that's GitHub. Oh, also my friends from SUSE. SUSE, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they are also diamond sponsor. The diamond or platinum, I can't really remember. Yeah. Yeah, you see, this is SUSE booth. They got Launcher, they promote Launcher, virtualization, Launcher Prime, literally everything, you know, about SUSE. Yeah, they also talk about observability is here as well. And if I move this side, that's the rest of the sponsors, all could be gold, silver, and also some startup sponsors. And the Palo Alto is one of the platinum sponsors. Diamond or platinum, yeah, I'm all really confused. But let's look back again. Yeah, SUSE. Thanks to SUSE for, you know, continuously supporting our community. Let's see, where is the AWS? By the way, AWS actually, they are diamond sponsor. Now they downgrade to platinum sponsor. So just next to Heroku, oh, Wiz. Do you guys recall Wiz? The company just acquired by Google. Google paid $32 billion. Say Wiz have a separate booth. They are platinum sponsor. Next to that, that's the Portworx. So mainly doing the cloud storage, the container storage piece. So that's AWS. Our friends, is setting up, getting things ready. Dash Zero, also platinum sponsor plus scale ops. Yeah, that's probably all I want to do, you guys. So in terms of the sessions, actually, for myself, I don't really spend too much time for the sessions. So shortly, I will join one of the keynote session, and the rest of the time, I spend more time at the solution showcase area. That's where, yeah, that's my favorite, to be honest. So I don't know, yeah, anything else you guys, you know, have any questions? Otherwise, I may wrap it up. Yeah, give back the time for you guys to continue.
Okay, yep. Any questions for Yongkang? Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you, Yongkang. Enjoy the events, and thank you for your update. Yeah,
Awesome. Oh, thanks, guys. I will see you guys later.
thank you.
Enjoy the weather. Jack, I'm pretty sure it's very hot over there.
Good. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you again. Yeah, you saw so many brands and so many companies that are supporting the cloud native, and I was not lying. SUSE was there. And here we're with the AWS, and you see that one thing I'm really like about the cloud native is this open source. You know, you contribute to projects, and it get to the enterprise level. So let's get a bit of the trends. Anyone want to talk about the AI ML trends in Kubernetes? George?
I think that when you think about AI and the public clouds, and it's all running on top of Kubernetes. It's probably the biggest customer, like Microsoft is OpenAI. Since Microsoft, I think all the clouds, they're using pretty much all the cloud. They're not just in one cloud, they're too big for that. And then everything runs on top of Kubernetes. It's not just OpenAI. I think most of the products being developed are running on Kubernetes. And then if you're not using Kubernetes, that's fine. You don't have to understand the whole thing. But if you're a developer, you know that the hardware you're going to be developing will be running on Kubernetes, even if you don't use that. So for AI specifically, there's a project that CNCF called K8SUG. If KAIPO. And it's pretty much that, but there's so many others, and K8SUG is one that, you know, is getting investment from Microsoft and now the partners joining. And that one is also a project for headline. That's true, that I got from the last KubeCon. And those projects, they all trying to do something on AI at the moment. I was at KubeCon Salt Lake City, US, in November. And then I was pretty much doing what he's doing. And by the way, KubeCon London is probably the biggest one. At least last year was bigger than US. So you can see like two sides, and that's not yet at the moment people are organizing. But and I don't know how many people we at KubeCon London this time, but we now have KubeCons around the world. Means that we centralize a little bit less than last year. Maybe the numbers are not that bigger than last year, but last year was bigger. The biggest KubeCon was in Europe. And that's AI. Like, what do you want to complement something on AI specifically?
Thanks, George. So as you know, I'm from NAM, and I'd like to share some of my experience with trying to adopt AI or machine learning models to NAM. So as a financial institute, one of the first things which comes to your mind is that the data sovereignty. So AI is one of the most challenging things which you have to clearly draw the line. How are you going to manage the data sovereignty? And specifically, where does the data resides? Is it in the same region? If it is going to another region, can you stop it going to another region? And etc. And especially, I want to share, I don't want to mention the that particular tool because my colleague next to me might not be happy, but last year we tried to adopt one of the AI tools for developers. For example, CNCF or Copilot or ChatGPT. And we were this close to finalizing one of the tools. And we honestly thought, we probably got it going and developers will start using it. But at the very last moment, we identified that a small bit of data, some of our metadata could be sitting outside the region. And for that purpose, we have to actually shut down the whole project after spending quite a lot of amount of funding and to start using a different tool. So that's one of the challenges we face. And not only that, especially when you're using the AI tools. For example, one of the examples when we try to implement, one of the best use cases is that, we automate getting an approval for a home loan or maybe a personal loan to an AI model. I mean, it looks fancy, right? Everybody would be talking about it, or sure, how bad it does that. But can it discriminate any applicant? And if it does, who's actually going to take that responsibility? Is the applicant is going to file a case against that or the AI tool? So those are some of the challenges we are facing when we're trying to actually adapt to the AI and integrate them into the workflows, and especially the accountability as well, because AI does make a lot of decisions. For example, these days everybody would say, yeah, sure, I use Copilot or Amazon Q, and if I want to just get a piece of code, I could probably just write it down and then I could probably just give you the code. And in my experience, chances are like that it might not work out of the box most of the time. And my experience is that most of the time the AI tool itself correctly can say, yeah, sure, sorry, this is the right one. And let's assume that I just use out of the box solution which is given by AI. And if it actually violates a data privacy, because the financial institutes are like governed by APRA, and the data privacy is one of the prime things which we have to focus. And what happens if any of the code which I just used from an AI tool actually cause a data leakage? Can the developer say, oh, sure, I just used the tool which was given by the bank, so you can't hold me responsible? So these are some of the questions, challenges I think we face when we're trying to adapt. And if you ask me honestly, due to all these reasons, if you ask my honest assessment, financial institutes are really reasonably a little bit far behind compared to most of the other companies in the in this industry, because it's not very straightforward for us to just add up AI or machine learning models. The level of security which you have to consult, the level of approvals, even for us to adapt to something, is far more granular and greater than compared to a new company or startup or even a normal vendor provided companies.
So
Yeah, and I'll just say that I read that everything that we say sometimes is like if it was done like a project 6 months ago, it's completely different today. So you have to be very careful when you say things because sometimes we test like 6 months ago, 1 year ago, and the things change very fast, even yesterday. I'll give an example. Someone posted on Instagram say, you have to pay $100 for OpenAI to do the image thing that everyone's posting on social media. But yesterday, they opened to the free tier. Like things changing every single day is very hard to follow. For companies, even harder. I think there's a lot of use cases that's very safe to use, and there are a lot of use cases that are not safe to use. You have to find the right balance. And not just play with, hero or examples of things. Try to go deeper and invest time, because if you don't do, your competition is going to do it. Even if you try and you test and you decide that's not the right time, but you are kind of very close, to be ready once the models change. And the models are changing every single day. So even I think from because I'm not talking about, for my company, this is myself, my opinions. Things that I was trying even like 1 month ago are different now.
So it changes.
Changed a lot.
Very quick.
So give example, everyone using different IDEs like for development. For development, we have to be careful because things are changing very fast. If you're a software engineer, you have to find out what skill you need for the feature. Because not going to be writing code. You're going to be analyzing the code that was created.
Yeah.
And doing like maybe 5 or 10%. Now it's like 30% that you have to write. But 1 year ago was 70% that you have to write. Now I have to write 30%.
What you're asking, George, so I've seen, so we use K8S clusters in our bank as well.
Yeah.
And we have seen some of the features comes as like, out of the box, we just have to tick that. For example, S2 is one of the, service mesh is one of the good examples. We tick it off, you already some capability of service mesh in Azure K8S cluster. So is there any foresight, we would have certain features, like I can remember like there are some tools like, like instead of using KubeCon, you probably can use that to troubleshoot what's wrong in your cluster. And if that kind of a capability can be provided as part of the out-of-box cluster, then the friction of companies like financial institutes adopting those AI capability actually reduces quite a lot because we get like a service provider guarantee. Yeah, sure. Your data is not being shared, your data sits in this region, and this is far as you can go. I mean, is there any kind of insights which we might see in terms of Kubernetes clusters or adoption of AI?
Yeah, there are some open source projects, even there is a video machine or Dash or Tashin or there's some open source projects that not just open source, you can pay for the company, but project came from open source project that you can do all the observability with AI in a quite different fashion way. On the clouds, you also have now AI, getting metrics and observability from the clusters. Pretty much all the clouds you have these. Another one like Docker Desktop, you have something called Gordon now. They call Gordon. It's like Java, it's like AI inside Docker Desktop. And they can do Docker commands, they can do also Kubernetes. And you say, well, deploy on my local, Kubernetes cluster here on my Docker Desktop. But they're also going, now they are all online. We can call the Docker AI for the online. The video I recorded was shared with them class on observability. It's very different because the data they do is they start collecting data from your cluster based on what it wants. And then they saw like a few steps and everything else. It's not just one step. It's one I think nobody's going to be, doing kubectl as a certification for anymore. I think certification is going to be in some state because you're not going to just try to find out logs and things yourself. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is the really nice discussion. We have some other four trends to cover a little bit, so I would like to jump to the engineering, platform engineering, and I have a question for Rush. How this platform engineering change the dynamics between the infra and the developers in the bank?
Correct. That's a nice question, Thiago. So I'm part of, as I mentioned, part of the core engineering team. And we have three focus points. Number one, enhance the developer experience. I didn't copy that from here, but that's what I call it. And secondly, we want to make sure our infra and applications are compliant. I'll come back to that in detail, what I mean by that. And thirdly, one of the most important things is that faster adoption and the separation of duties. So the first thing which I got, like the enhanced developer experience, what we want to achieve is that we want the developers to make sure they can focus on their job and they would be able to seamlessly deploy the application with the correct security controls. And secondly, before going more detail into that point, the compliance of infra and application. One of the things which we do is that as a central platform, we manage the 350 EKS clusters, both non-prod and prod. It's not one in. So we got like prod as well as non-prod. So that is all those clusters, including the patching, upgrades, minor upgrades, and installation of other components like QP Vault, Nginx, UNT, Carpenter, SQL Service Mesh. All of these things are centrally managed. And in that way, we ensure that all the clusters are patched weekly. When I say patched weekly, we are talking about the machine image or the AMIs. So they are patched weekly, as well as we make sure that the clusters are upgraded in a timely manner. We are not far behind from the latest version, and we don't wait until the long-term support finishes after 2 years. And so those are the things which we centrally manage, as well as we also make sure that the application which goes into these clusters are compliant. How do we make sure that? Is that we provide centrally managed CI/CD pipelines. So in that case, anyone who is deploying anything to our Kubernetes clusters will mandatorily go through all the Sneak, when we use this tool Sneak, and other scanning tools as well. So we make sure that all the application which goes into our clusters are scanned properly, and their compliance are lodged against one of our own internal tools. So we have actually closed down the door of anyone else deploying anything to our Kubernetes clusters apart from the standard centrally managed CI/CD tools. In that way, we know only there's one door where you can get something into our clusters, and if that door is secured, anything inside that door is also secure. That's one of the way that we make sure that our infra and all our applications are compliant. And for that reason, we are doing like a mass migration from ECS to EKS. 5 years ago, 90% of our cloud applications, either are sitting in ECS or sitting in VM, running in a container environment. But now the tables have changed, and we have made sure that it's only around 10% of applications, and we are trying to get rid of them in this FY25, that is end of September. And finally, talking about the maturity, is that we want to make sure the separation of duties. One of our mission is that we don't want the developers to spend time on patching their infra, upgrading the infra, or even making changes to their CI/CD. I mean, all of you probably have used or heard about Jenkins. It's a very powerful tool, still to my taste. I hope my manager is not listening, but it's one of my favorite tools, even though we are advocates of another tool called Harness. This Jenkins tool is so powerful that it allows you to do quite a lot. And for that reason, if you have an audit, like what can a bad actor do? That's there's a huge scope a bad actor can do with that tool. So that's why we want to introduce centralized managed CI/CD pipelines. They are centrally covered. So nobody can skip mandatory scanning. Nobody can skip the validation against our own internal compliance tools. So in that way, we also ensure the compliance, as well as we also make sure that the developers who are tenants, who are like, spread across our technology platform, they do not spend their time developing CI/CD, developing the same CI pipeline, which is if not being developed like by the rest of the teams. They are just the consumers of the centrally managed CI/CD pipeline. And all they have to do is that focus on rolling out a feature which is relevant for their domain. Anything you want to add, Coach?
Yeah, no, I know a lot about your, because I did projects for Microsoft there anyway. I know your environment very well. And I also did like Kubernetes on premise back 2017 for national broadband. That's still there. We run, there's something still there. Without talking details, because I cannot even say the details because our customers. But what I say is, at the time I used to go for I'm not delivering projects at the moment, but I don't advocate, and I'm now trying to educate and also help to improve the products. But sometimes I also go for the customers and try to help on the field. What I used to say is, the first thing is the development team. When we create platforms, we try to hide a lot of things from the developers. I think there's a good side. There's also a bad side, and
I definitely agree with that.
yeah.
That's about the tenants want actually get the development side. And also like on that one.
Yeah, but let me get there. The main issue for the developer was they could not replicate, the testing or stage or production environment locally or even on their development team. But the stage wasn't a developer cluster. And normally, the companies don't give that development cluster for the developers to work on. And they start just debugging things like, microservices or things like independently. And normally they have to push the code to be deployed somewhere in a stage environment, and someone's going to test. And that development side takes a long time. And sometimes when you don't teach a developer about Docker, that's why Docker is still very important, they make mistakes. They develop an application of SUSE that they can use any memory that they want because Kubernetes is scalable. It's not like that. And what we noticed in the last 7 or 8 years with Kubernetes, even with small Azure Kubernetes service or EKS, we have ECS that even older, is that people start creating classes for each project. That's why I have so many classes. And then that became a problem. There's a new CNCF project called Q8 that Microsoft created and donated to CNCF. That's exactly to do the platform engineers for the cluster side. And also now they building the application side pretty much like kind of Argo CD with GitOps. But most of the enterprise, they don't like GitOps for some reason. They don't want to use GitOps. They don't trust GitOps because you have to really trust on your Git repository as a source of truth. And for some reason, they are using GitOps as they should use. For example, GitOps like 5 years ago, I never saw that huge adoption. Only Argo CD use it, but not on enterprise. And the main reason is you have to keep your classes updated in patches, like you said. And Q8 is exactly to manage these multi-cluster things. because you create a EKS cluster or AKS cluster, then you can do one region with multiple zones, but when you're trying to create different regions, different clusters, then it starts becoming more complex. And Kubefleet is kind of, I'm going to patch now, have like 3 different regions for an application running, and I have like 20 clusters for one application, and how I'm going to patch those clusters. And Kubefleet is a project on CNCF that can create like a plan how you're going to patch your clusters, and you can define like disruption budget for your application. Then they're going to stop each one of the clusters and patch on the order that you define on Kubefleet. And that's a game changer because we never had something easy like that. And we don't want to each company creating one. That's why it's on CNCF that everyone can follow the same approach and the customers don't get crazy trying to, each one trying to create a different solution. I have a question there.
Yeah, I just was curious about Kubefleet when you say, is it very specific with Microsoft Azure or can be adopted for GKE or EKS as well? Because it's very good if you can manage multiple clusters. And second point perhaps goes to the NAND, that I know that you guys are using Harness. So what was the compelling reason to go for Harness instead of using GitOps? Like, because I'm a big fan of GitOps.
Yeah.
You basically see what is the repository and that becomes your application, because there would be some reasons behind it. So I'm just trying to understand that and about
just Kubefleet is, that's why it's donated to CNCF. And before everything, we had all the things that they used to talk about, like class API that was also a way to create clusters. They have provided for each one of the clouds. Those things are just on top of all these other projects pretty much. When now not just I know how to create the cluster with class API or something else, but now I need to orchestrate those patching when it's a complex environment. Because imagine like a bank and you start patching things and people are using the product or and you have to scale and you cannot scale because the classes or the nodes are getting updated. So this end from the application, you wanna not just deploy in one region, you wanna do GitOps for multiple regions. And GitOps helps a lot on this kind of scenario.
Or definitely, as I said, if you ask what's my favorite CSC tools, probably not Harness, but I'm looking at Harness and inside. I love the two.
Yeah.
The main reason why we went with that tool is that mainly we wanted to where we can centrally command.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying GitOps you can't configure that. And the number 2 was like the observability of the capability of providing the DORA metrics as part of the whole tool. I'm pretty sure GitOps can do that as well. But I think we like the way it actually allowed us to read those metrics.
And basically through that.
Correct. And it was we were planning to use the SaaS platform as well. So I think those are the things I think factoring in selecting Harness. And coming back to your point, John, yes. 4 or 5 years ago, we had an ECS cluster for each application, which was like operations, which was like embarrassing, to tell in front of the camera. Why would we have that? But that's why we have specifically crafted our clusters with all the over policies or policies in place to make sure that they are multi-tenanted. So all these 300 clusters, which I talked about, don't think that we're talking about 300 applications. We're talking about close to 5,000 applications, if not more, which is used across pretty much more than 5,000 used across those 300 clusters in a multi-tenant environment.
And multi-tenant gets even more complex because now you are disrupting a few application those clusters to update the cluster. Oh, that's simple.
You said about some task API. So what was that? I couldn't catch that.
Cluster API.
Cluster API.
Yeah. Cluster API is a SIG project on Kubernetes to create the clusters. And then I provided the Cluster API for Azure, with a plan, all the clouds, even for on-premise as well. So the way that Kubefleet works, and we create like a hub cluster, install Kubefleet there, and from there is your control plane to install an outlook that is going to allow the control plane to be in multiple regions as well. And maybe we should say a little bit what GitOps is. Who doesn't know what GitOps is? I don't think everybody knows what GitOps is, but you know, GitOps is your code is on Git and you want to deploy that. And the main issue with Jenkins, and Jenkins was a big problem there. Because Jenkins is a software that you need like extensions or the plugins, they call plugins. And you cannot have multi-tenant on Jenkins. It means that they have like 300 Jenkins installations there because each team has one Jenkins. And it become a problem. The CI/CD tool become a problem. Not that the tool is bad, the tool is just not for multi-tenant.
Correct. I mean, each has an ACS cluster just for running thing because
yeah, and they have multiple Jenkins. They don't have one Jenkins for the whole company. And different from Azure DevOps orders that you can have one GitOps or GitHub that you can use for the whole company. It's impossible to do Jenkins with that. It is impossible. And if you try that, just failure because that was used to be discussions in Meetup. So we talk about how we scale Jenkins. There is no way. That never was fixed. But the thing is with Jenkins, you used to have the credential on Jenkins to deploy those classes. Imagine if you have a centralized Jenkins with all those credentials. If someone hacked there, we get access to everything. With GitOps, how the cluster itself is deploying the application themselves. I think that's the magic of GitOps. But also you have to make sure your cluster is safe. We just had a CVE with Nginx last week.
Yep.
Who knows that? Nginx, the investment had like a CVE.
Critical, right?
It's a very critical one if you have an update your cluster and do it. And it was like that you could through Nginx have access to the whole cluster.
I think one word that was mentioned was observability, and this is the third trend that I would like to bring to us, and the rise of eBPF. Who never heard about eBPF? Oh, okay. So eBPF is one of it was called just BPF before, and it is one of the tools inside the kernel on Linux. And the new thing that it can do is you can run programs in the system space and dynamically. So this is the cool thing about the BPF. And one of the components that is working hard on that is called Cillian, and they are bringing the whole new paradigm for the networking, especially in the Kubernetes and pods. And I believe eBPF for Windows are coming as well. And I would like to hear from George what you have about the BPF.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. Like next week I have a book with view from Cillian. We're going to record a video for the Open at Microsoft show. We record next week. Just follow the Open at Microsoft from there. But Cillian is now on at least on Azure. I think all the clouds they're using Cillian for the networking, all the network policies, all the things. The data plane of the cluster is managed by Cillian. And when it comes to eBPF is, imagine if our developer having source code running on the kernel, on Linux kernel. So the first thing when everyone looking at many years ago, is that safe? Can I inject, put code to run on the Linux kernel? And yeah, you extend the Linux kernel, put your code there. So when Cillian data plane, when they do like layer 7, load balance, things, it's so fast because that's running on the kernel of the operating system itself, not even on your cluster. Your cluster is just, updating those things. And I have another video I did with another project on CNCF called Inspector Gadget. Inspector with K, Inspector Gadget. That's another project that also using eBPF. And also they very clever because they can use WebAssembly. Because sometimes eBPF not very easy to write, and they're using WebAssembly to extend eBPF. And all debugging that we use than this project called Inspector Gadgets. Similar to, there's a lot of other projects using Inspector Gadgets behind the scenes. That's pretty much. So the inside we can get information from operations directly. That's very fast, very performing. Why those things are important? Because we want to create clusters that not just like 5 nodes. We want to create clusters with 2,000 nodes, 5,000 nodes to run these like Xbox or OpenAI or all these AI projects. And for us to be able to do that, we need something like CUN BPF to be that control, that fast control time. On some must learn. Yes. And then working on how that works against. If only good performance, that's where performance. Otherwise, that's an investment tool that if you don't use that, you have to go inside like a load of it faster. And or like a service that's normally a service on Kubernetes, they use IP tables. So it's low. And that's why it gets so fast.
Dedicated, sorry, is it a dedicated Linux kernel just for the EV?
No, there's a whole
Yeah.
the nodes kernel that are running those eBPF programs.
I believe
Yeah.
since kernel 5 dot something, it's available for BPF. You just need to load the eBPF programming there. And I believe, yeah, kernel 5,
And it runs
6.
alongside everything else.
Yes,
Yeah.
run everything alongside, yeah.
Because that's how the load balancers on the cloud, they send the traffic to the nodes. And the nodes now used to be IP tables to redirect for like web applications running there. But now it's all using eBPF on the kernel.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
What happens in the network is that the package that network that before needs to go through all the path to go to the network interface in the kernel. eBPF take the package when it come and bypass that and send to the eBPF Cilium network. So this network get quickly, so the performance improves a lot.
All the routing is done now on the kernel itself, on those. And if you think about, what I can use that for, this is actually routing, observability, service mesh that does all the routing as well. And SPO service mesh, all these things are using that. Cilium has a service mesh as well. And that's the future, right?
Right. I believe that at some point, Cilium could be default service mesh. Yes, faster.
Yeah, on Azure be the default already, and in Marshall integrated all the even the metrics now, the Hubble that's the observability tool that can know the metrics from those components and all from them, but it can, the default pretty much now when you put in that's a recommended way to do it. Doesn't mean that you have to change overnight, if very small cluster, that's fine. But the performance is so, the difference in performance is unbelievable when you compare. And another thing you have to think about is when you patching, not just like deploy application and someone, because Kubernetes, when you deploy application or pods, they're not running on the same node all the time. They keep moving around. And when they move around, you have to update the routing tables. And that used to be IP tables updating. That's why you cannot have big clusters, because those very low to update of the IP tables. If the BPF is very safe and reliable, that you're not going to miss, I haven't updated it yet. And then the traffic goes on the wrong way. That could happen before. With the BPF, you might not have this problem. yeah, updating, routing, even other products on the cloud is very hard.
Cool. Yep. Next, it's the security. eBPF was really used also in the main point for Falco before, and now security is everywhere. So maybe you have heard about the DevSecOps. So inside all this part on the development life cycle, you still have security from left to right, up and down. Any point on the security that you would like to talk to?
I mean, I'd like to just
Yep.
brief on this slide. So, as I mentioned, having to manage those 350 clusters, it's a massive focus on security. Number one, as I mentioned, we have other components installed in the cluster, like the engineering squad, Fluentity, Carpenter, and serviceman. So we are looking at close to another 15 containers, different components, which we have to keep them up to date. And not only that, we also want to make sure that any upgrade is not actually going to cause an outage. I can remember last week we were trying to update the engineering ingress controller. Some of the applications said, yeah, sure. They are some dropping their request. So those are some of the main things which we have to really focus on. And also, as mentioned by the SBOM, that is really important. So that's something as a core platform, which we have already integrated as part of our CI pipeline, CD pipeline, which will be generated as part of the pipeline, which is actually another capability from the harness itself. And one of the things which I really want to share about the security is that, so we always talk about basic vulnerabilities. And let's assume that if I just deploy something today, and the chances are like in a few weeks' time or in a month's time, you would have some basic vulnerabilities on the same containers, or even the libraries which I'm using. Now, one of the use cases which we really challenging is that probably you can think about how can we solve this problem, because it is still challenging to solve this problem, is that a team who has already done the deployment 1 month ago, which is all compliant, but now trying to do another deployment, and all of a sudden, if the deployment, the new deployment fails, and if they have to roll back and do the previous deployment or go back to the previous state, now our pipelines would just say, hey, sorry, the containers which you're trying to deploy again are not compliant. Now we are going to face into a situation, sorry, you can't go back to the previous state because that state is actually not compliant. But you can't go to the new state. That new state is actually having certain bugs or defects. So that's one of the things which you probably can think of, like, how we can solve this problem. I mean, of course, you can probably say, yeah, sure, you don't need to actually delete our deployment in Kubernetes. You probably can scale to 0 and just keep it. Yes, those are some of the things which you can do. Of course, there are some mitigations, but those are some of the focus which really concerns when we try to talk about security in our space.
Okay.
Wow, security is
Yeah.
a tough one because there are so many different levels of security. We talked about security of the nodes of the cluster. I think the cloud providers are doing a good job to make sure that in patching the nodes, if you do like, configuration, you can ask them to automatically patch all the nodes. And you can define a manager can define if you want to patch the operating system, a small change or only because of security breach, or different levels of configuration you can do it. But still, something that you install on your cluster, that's the hard part. I think that's the next level that's happening at the moment. At least, on AKS, we kind of just announced that we're going to give, LTS, long-term support. That's something that's been discussed on the commit for a long time. Because nobody wants to update the cluster
Every 3 months.
every 3 months. And
That was long.
yeah.
3 months.
The long-term support was a big issue. And now we have 1 year from the project from AKS. And most of the cloud providers are Microsoft giving like 1 year extra now. From version 128, means that if there's a customer using 128 plus, they're going to have 1 extra year that we're going to patch. Even if there's no support from the community, we're going to patch. And that will be 2 years. But the other big easy means that they can stay on version 128 up to 2 years. They just do it more patchings and post patch. We talk about the classes. They looking for the application, right? And also another one, your applications. And most of people, when deploy Kubernetes, they do the hosting side, but they don't do the live application security, scanning. Imagine they have to scan your application every 2 hours or every hour to make sure there is no CV that just came 2 hours ago, and you may have to patch. Nginx, the example for that. You could patch that in 2 hours, or the hackers are trying to hack someone else, and you may be, and the hacking is becoming so fast and so powerful. Don't wait, nobody's going to find me. They're going to find me. On the right side is, there are ways now, like say, Kubernetes, you can change the site. You will find like application based on those packages. If this is the page on one of those packages, you have to update now you have to wait for the image that you're using to be updated, or the package to be updated, or you have to do yourself. You have to review the Docker image with the latest package. And one way there's a project on CNCF called COPA, COPA, that's to patch the image. They're going to look the CVE, run a scan on the image that's running. If there is a CVE, they're going to create another Docker image to patch and redeploy the application. Now, I think that's one of the most important things that you could develop on the company was making sure that you have this continued redeployment and patching your applications. And yeah, COPA said COPA now is a CNCF project. Have a look there. There's a few talks and is something that you can integrate with some container histories on the public clouds as well. Very important.
Yep. We are running out of time, so I will jump a little bit in here. We have the data as well as something that is getting more mature to run on Kubernetes. Before, stateful application was quite a challenge. It still is a challenge, but it is getting easier. And I would like to thank you for our panelists for their perspectives, and thank you for watching this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I will invite Lasith to come for talk on Kubernetes more than at the IK Meet. Thank you.
That was an interesting session. I realized if I don't have to do this session, how would all the they covered all the important things, things that's changing at the moment, challenges we face in the market, right? The topic for today is Kubernetes more than HCI. So I aligning that they covered all topics. Thanks, George. Sorry, Roshan. I was going to say Roshan. For that session. I'm probably going to continue with the same topic, right? Kubernetes, right? Managing single container, a single cluster, maybe one or two clusters, quite easy. Right? But Roshan spoke about how complex the environment is, right? More than 300 clusters you mentioned across multiple environments. Different teams. Project must be working for one team. There are so many other people working together. There must be war rooms every time, every day. That really is a
We've done that. And these clusters are across many different AWS accounts as well, and Azure subscriptions as well. So it's not.
It's not in one account. So just imagine the complexities. So you spoke about a use case. I just want to know your story. How complex are your environments? People who are actually working in environments like that, or maybe it's a small cluster, maybe it's big, I don't care. Just I want you to share this thing. Be quiet, or I want you to engage. This is not one-way communication. This is not me trying to sell something. It's I want to learn from you guys as well. Tell me your experiences. Yeah. Go ahead. So when you're asking for experiences, I could not catch that. What is it like painful experiences? Tell me how your complex the environment, what your challenges are. Is it the same version? I know it's a large bank from the large bank, right? Lot of things, but it won't be at that level. I'm pretty sure it's the story is the same. But I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, probably happy with sorry.
Yeah.
As Jorge. So I was previously working at MOB and I'm currently working at Afterpay. So both company basically running like a multi-tenant cluster. We got a big cluster, and I mean previously we are sharing like it's like multi-tenant namespace. So different business units, they have different like namespace. And I think one of the projects currently at Afterpay is we are moving from library to like namespace as a service. Yeah, which has lots of work, like for example, the networking, the policies, like how you allow like services to call, and even also like cross-region, because we also we are under block, the company got blocked, so it also has the Square, Afterpay, and Cash App. So these three organizations need to talk to each other. They are three different, like they are sitting in three different clusters. So yeah.
Okay, so pretty much different, but it's similar story. The complexities, different organizations. Great. Any other person, I won't go one by one, but any other person who wants to share their story? Maybe just one cluster there. It doesn't matter. Anyone else? You guys got experience with Kubernetes? Okay. All right. So at least I'll just go with these two. All right. So as we know, Kubernetes are complex environments, right? These example real world scenarios just of how complex it is and how vast it is and expanded across all these different businesses in different areas. Now, one of the things that Jorge and Joe spoke about is this is where I want to speak about.
we have a reason for the they spoke the same language. I want to make sure that you guys have the same problem. The problem is listening. Certain organizations will have own observability. This is a use case as a okay, cool. Have their own observabilities because they have found, like every other things, right? Ops teams, platform engineers, the security people, observability has picked up as one of the development aspects. Why? Because business can't do it of taking so much of time to understand their problems are. Right. So many tools are available in the market. Right. Open source tools or proprietary tools can be fast from somebody else. There's so many tools available in the market. And we are trying to achieve reduce that time to the solution. Trying to minimize the effort that you put in to identify the problems are. Sometimes you identify the problems, you know what the dependencies are. Because these systems generate so much of logs, fixes, events, and you need to sort of understand that these are how they are built together and what that. So might be using multiple tools. Just one tool does one thing, another tool does another thing. So you might want to correlate and understand where things are. And that's the story I'm trying to understand from you guys. Because this is what we learned, what we learned from the industry, from the people who are running clusters like what we spoke about. Is the same story with you guys as well in your experience. Is it the same? You have challenges on having that visibility and making sure.
Yeah, we use Datadog, so
Yeah.
which is fine, but it's like a
No,
trace and things, so you can find the dependencies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's a big part for the observability tool. So
As I said, a lot of people, a lot of organizations use multiple tools. They might start an open source tool, right? Or they can use any tool that's available. They might try multiple tools to understand the sweet spot to tackle these problems. Security is number one as well. Observability is also a pain point for customers. Because this is not just for platform engineers. This is not for just SREs. This is for the whole business. If your application is not performing to the way it should be, for example, if the application that NAP provides, if it's lagging, if it's not bringing the customer experience, it's going to impact the bank. And the team is going to spend a lot of time trying to find that sweet spot. And they'll go through application performance monitoring, all these things. Right? So it's important. What we have done at SUSE is I've spoken this a couple months ago. But I thought it's important, I think it aligned, as I said, to the topic that George and Rashendra spoke about today. One of the things. So this will be just a demo. It's not a complete answer, right? So I'll give a bit of an introduction to what we do. So we acquired a company called Lasith, and what we have done is we have incorporated into our branch prime offering. Right? The reason is we believe organizations who run branches needs an observability like security, like what we have done in the security aspect. We find trends, we find pain points of what customers go through, and what we're trying to do is give answers or solutions the way we can for our customers so that they can leverage them out of the box. The cool thing about this solution is it is not restricted to for on-prem clusters. It can be clusters running on Azure, or it can be running on GCP, or it can be running on AWS. Because they are all Kubernetes, right? So that's what we have tackled. So I'm just gonna jump in to my dashboard.
Let's see. Okay, this is going to be challenging. Last time. All right. Yeah. I can. Take this out. Sorry. Right. So I've got a couple of clusters running. This is my demo one. Trying to simulate exactly one of the features. I've got a cluster running for my observability server. Right. I've got other clusters running. One cluster is failing at the moment. Sorry, Jorge, I haven't got access to virtual at the moment, so we're running on everything on Amazon. So a little bit more. Right. So I just do this. Okay. Now, certain clusters I have added the observability agent, and one cluster I've already where I can initially quickly browse and show how easy it is to pick things up quickly and pull all the different things. So you what that could be So I created this cluster, simple cluster, got some storage running in with Longhorn, got some monitoring running in, traditional monitoring tools, right? Kubernetes and Grafana, maybe it's other tools like Arteiro, time trace. You guys are using other tools as well. But does this really help you to solve a problem? This is how we can equation. So what I'm going to do, it has dashboard, it has inbuilt dashboard, but you have to go through in and then look, maybe create your own dashboards, you get the right outputs, have those thresholds configured. So there's a bit of work that you need to do. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to show is the SUSE observability. Now, SUSE observability, once you've got the server, this is my server, I can connect to any downstream cluster, whether it's Kubernetes or Rancher Kubernetes or Amazon or OpenShift, anything, right? As long as it's a Kubernetes CNCF certified Kubernetes. And if I want to create something, I just have to give a name. I'll just say any name. It doesn't have to be the exact name. See what it is. Let's say install. All right. And this will give me some information to pass it to my cluster. So first, I need to install the agent on this cluster. Let's see, have I got the installation? No. Right. I'll add the repository here. So the charts. Okay. Right. So I'll go back to charts. Building, just click agent. Bring a namespace so that it sits in a namespace. Name. Right, this is where I need to pass that information. So customer, you guys need to help me out if I make a mistake, otherwise I can't see
What I'm curious to understand is like you first of all created that stack tag. Then you created a repository. It's just, it would be nice just to give a nice high level overview of what courses overall we are doing and then give a demo because it looks like we are going from one stream to something that you're.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is because this cluster doesn't have any possibility, it has general.
A brand new cluster created.
It's a brand new.
So my
cluster.
question perhaps goes like this, that once you created that stack pack with the index URL, why can't we just go into the new cluster and install?
Because I need to provide a specific API key,
Okay,
connect my downstream cluster with the upstream server.
okay. And now this agent will be pushed on that newly created.
Yes, it starts talking to the server,
Got it, got it.
right? So I'll probably explain,
Got it.
just pass all the information and then it starts in the background. Okay,
So all the AWS account is just under your environment, or like what are the application tools that you use for that?
say that again.
You go to AWS account, right? So it's a your AWS account, like you created a cluster, and in this cluster, like you launch the servers in the VPC.
I have done all, of it. So
Yeah, you've done all that. Like, so, like how is it your agent like talking to the now AWS account? I mean, like the private servers which are with the private, the servers which are launched in a private subnet.
yeah, so this is talking to what is exposed by the observing server. So like any other master slave environment,
Yeah, okay.
the downstream cluster has this agent. Once you install the agent, installs it. So that's why I'm giving the URL and relevant API key so that the server can start pulling all that information from the downstream cluster.
Using the like in a Kubernetes cluster, like already an agent is being installed, and like you're already like whatever.
Anybody doesn't have as it can be any cloud provider, any multi-cluster environment, can be on-prem cloud, whatever it is.
So like
As long as you got the server.
So let's say for example, like if I have multiple clusters, so we have to do it in like all the clusters.
If you want cover all the clusters, you can do that, or you can pretty much automate this process. I'm just showing you the steps of here inside the single cluster, but if you have multiple clusters, like in Roshan's case, if you have one cluster, then I'm going to do one by one each. There are ways to automate it so that you can deploy all the agents and get all the keys into the SUSE upstream. So there's a different process.
So you use that agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if your cluster is private, you can still have access to it, right?
Yeah.
Because your health is actually not the information before your cluster. When it is private, it's the public.
Oh, so I just need to change the code because I made some changes with my, this is on an actual production run. You won't be doing this, you just paste the URL, but in my use case, I build this demo environment, doing all the testing, so you'll probably see I have to change the code. And the last one is the API key, because each no, so I don't have a valid TLS certificate. So that's why it says unique, right? I don't know. Yeah, this is my own server, my own setup, this is just keeping in mind, the actual environment, it has to be a TLS certificate.
So I got this one up and running, so I have to install it somewhere on myself.
Yeah, so the server itself, the management server needs a TLS certificate with that communication is through the TLS. Okay, this is the demo. This is not production environment, but yes. And I need to write. So each cluster will have its own API key. That's the way it communicates and builds those clusters into the management server. Now I'll just copy the API key. Yep, is yes, right. Sorry? Yeah. Thank you. Oh, on the top. Yeah, okay. See, you guys help me out. One more. Yeah, okay, we got it. Hopefully. So what I've done, just to repeat, right now, this question. So I've got the server running. Now, on this discovery of the clusters, you need to install the agent. And it starts pulling all the information. Once it's complete, start pulling all the information to the server. No information will be there. Whatever the logs, metrics, or traces that get generated, everything will be there. I'm not creating a dashboard. So what I'm going to show you is what this looks like. Because the brand new cluster doesn't have much workloads in here.
Just after installation of the agent, out of box, what you basically get, that's what your agenda.
Yes. Right. So minimizing that time and effort that you put in to get that information out. Right. So let's do a bit of time. And hopefully this should be.
No, my apologies if I'm asking too much.
I love questions.
My question is this basically a side hack for the application, which is part of the Rancher product of Sphere product?
Yeah.
Is it like open source, or you have to purchase the Rancher software?
So what we have done is that we have made it available free, like Kubernetes and Grafana.
Oh, yeah,
right. Made it available free for our enterprise customers. Right. So they don't have to pay for another observability tool. If they have already done, that's fine. You get this part of your package. Right. You install it. If it helps you, since environments like what Rashendra spoke about, things what George spoke about, if it gives that visibility across, it helps your organization. But for people who doesn't have Rancher, for example, if you really love looking at it, we are releasing for our marketplace. So we have started with AWS releasing the cloud object with minimum capability, if for people to use it and see what it looks like. Because this has been a proprietary product like Dante's newly data. We haven't made open still. I don't know what the product team is looking at because it's quite extensive process. Product open. But we are working in such a way so that our customers, when they manage their downstream clusters to Rancher, they have an observability tool they can easily utilize than just doing this in the farm.
Right. Because I think you have got very good government Rancher.
Well,
okay.
Sorry, you said it's available for any CNCF.
You can. Sorry, what?
Their customers get a stack pack to answer your question.
The observability. Yes. Stack pack is all about just.
So you're showing it with AWS.
Yeah.
But you said it will work for any CNCF.
Any CNCF
Kubernetes.
Exactly. It's the same process. The reason I went through this process is normally people won't do it anyway. They'll talk, okay, right? Hey, got this, I'm going to pretty much do that. But the whole idea is for a brand new cluster, right? I could have just used Kubernetes and Grafana, or you might be using your own tools and what's available in your environment. But if you got this observed, I got the server running today. Just doing it. Okay. All I've done is create a cluster, just pass those information and just edit it. So it's been added now, I think. Screen? Yeah, they're all great. So now, can I hide this? What question? Oh. If you can't see this, let me know. Right. Okay. Now, SUSE observability gives you the visibility across all these components. Right. With that, the service level, pod level, cluster level, even up to the node level. Right. Now let's go and see what that cluster looks like. Right. So the one that I created, I think this one. Right. This is at the cluster level, just basic. Right. You got the node, you got the worker node, right? if you just move in, you can see that's the cluster. It says no, yeah, it's the node. If I go into the service level, and I'll just close this. It built all those dependencies, all the information. I'll just zoom it in so you guys can see a bit more clearly. All the system calls, namespaces, the pods, the nodes, all those things created out of the box. And you create all the dependencies. This is the sweet thing about SUSE. It helps you to correlate all your data, right? It helps you to create the dependency map, the topology view. Because this view helps customers, organizations to understand where the problem is. If it's a huge cluster environment, just imagine if you want to go down and there's an issue somewhere, and then you drill down, and then you need to look at different logs, different traces, different matrices. But if you've got everything in one place, that's quite easy. And the great thing about this is this has a timeline. So for example, at the bottom, you can see it's live at the moment. So if I change my timeline, I won't see this cluster. But in the timeline, you can look where things are. So I just move out. You can see how they are connected to each other, what the networking looks like, right? And if I click something, and if I want to go for a component view, it go into detail view. Now, again, this just created, right? So it doesn't have a lot of information at the moment. All right. But any monitoring, so for example, I think there is a monitors. Yeah. Again. It creates out of the box these monitors. What is the component called Alert Managed Operator Service? And it tells you how the status of the particular component. Similarly, these things are created out of box. So we are trying to help our customers minimize that time and effort that they will bring to understand where things are, what the problems are, and easy to access. Get that complete view of your environment. Any questions?
So by setting the dependencies, are you using like service mesh or any other component? How is that good dependencies?
It has certain components which I'm not aware of what that looks like, but it creates all these components. That's the uniqueness of the SUSE observability set data that we apply. It builds, so when all the data is created in one place, it starts building from the configuration file to everything, pulls all that information and gives you that information. To your question, what a component it uses, I have no answer for that at the moment, but yes. Right, and it tells you what if there's a pod related, and you can go into the pod and you can see any monitors if there's any monitors in that, right? For example, in that pod level, you have those monitors, right? It tells you all that information. If you want to go into configuration, all that information in one place, right? So again, I filtered it just for this cluster, but if I go back into services and reset this, it pulls out all the information, all the clusters in here. So for example, you can see See, I can see all the clusters in here in one single view. And for me, it's much more easier to go in and check what's really causing issues of this problem. So in this case, for this cluster, for this pod, there's a pod restate. So if I just go in, it gives me some information, and it also gives me a remediation guide. So this has inbuilt application performance monitoring remediation guides built in based on the Google's SRE table. The golden signals that you will come across for application performance monitoring, that's all built into the tool. So a simple scenario, just very simple, just to give you the importance of having a great observability tool. You might not be using Rancher, you might not be using the SUSE observability, but the importance of what Jorge and Rashendra spoke about, one of the trends of having observability is important, like security. As you grow, as your complexity, as your environment complexity creates, you need to understand what your internal states are. Right? You can't do this at just top level. You need to have a visibility across everything. So you might use, as I said, multiple tools, and just to get that, resolve, or just to get that answer. So what we are trying from SUSE is building these or bringing these tools into our functionality of our platform management, simplifying that complexities, and helping our organizations to use tools like this to reduce that time. A simple scenario. I hope you enjoy very simple scenario. It's not actual environment, to be honest, but I hope this was useful to you guys. Thank you.
You have what API there, and you have your GPS along there as well.
Yes, so we are using EBPF as well. Yeah. Apart from so they spoke about EBPF, the value of EBPF. So SUSE Observability, even before we applied this, they've been integrating EBPF into the system. That's why it allows all this information. Yeah. Thanks.
That's such a information and like one big regulation and giving you like a similar view of everything.
Everything, especially for community.
Expand on different areas depending on
What you want to
resolve things.
whether at service level or node level or pod level, because that's the sort of visibility people want, rather than switching through multiple tools to understand.
Does it have functionality if you're an enterprise? This is multiple cloud providers. So you can have on that screen some AWS, some Azure.
Yes, as I said, it can be, we have customers who are using AWS, Azure, and then you're having this tool, the agent running across these clusters so that give complete visibility. And again, sometimes this is one single application, but sometimes application is spread across, distributed across these multi-clouds, not just one single cloud provider. So that you need to know how these components will help, right? If there's a problem with any of the systems, a component, it's impacted, whether it's on AWS or Azure or Google, or on-prem, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I think unfortunately just missed your last section, but I think I'll go to the recording. What I was curious to understand, once you install the Slack package and if there's a time and opportunity, what sort of dashboards I can get out of box?
So out of the box, as I said, it builds all the dependencies. Once the dependencies are created, right? What we talk about is the agent pushes all the raw data from everywhere it can. It can be used through open telemetry or through the agent. All the data is pushed into this server for this cluster. And it starts building those dependencies, relationships on those, and then gives you the holistic view. So you can go in the way you want. If you want to have the cluster level, or you want to have the service level or pod level, because each business owner in an organization will want different views.
Hey, thank you. So that's not a trend enough, right? Observability is really important, especially when you get so many components, so many applications, so many moving pieces. And I hope you have paid attention, and we are going to the quiz. So we have a prize today is 3 Code Cloud 6-month access.
The one who has asked most questions, he gets the prize.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fair, right?
Yeah, it's not who asks more questions, but who gets the most questions correctly. Sorry. Yeah, so this is the prize that we had. I want you to scan this QR code and join our quiz, please. We will start soon. Yeah, cool. People are joining. Yeah, it's coming. Cool, cool. So how the game works? You have, I believe, 10 questions. Each questions 20 seconds. Four. You have a 25% chance to guess the correct question, correct answer. And the idea is that you need to get it right and you need it fast. Okay, that is how you get more points. I will give you more 30 seconds to get this. And we will have in the end a leaderboard, and is first come can decide which prize they want. Okay, so don't get sad if you don't get the flush. But yeah, do your best. Okay, more 10 seconds. Everybody joined. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, so where is KubeCon Europe happens? Where was Yongkang today? Oh, yeah, no, it's London. It's London, England. Cool. Let's go for the next question. Oh, this is tough. Not SUSE. Oh, come on, yeah. Here we spend most of the time. Cool, next question, let's go. Oops. Click. Cool. Okay, which K8SUG sponsor has both in the KubeCon? This is which one? Then I hope everybody gets this correct. Oh, yeah, SUSE as well. Yeah. Yeah, we have many sponsors for this community sponsor as well. They could become. And with the boat there. Who is leading? Oh, wow, it's leading. Yeah, let's go. What is not part of the trend 2 platform engineering is matured? It's difficult. One. Hope you can guess right. 25% chance, and yeah, wow, most both right. Cool. Let's go next question. halfway through, and we can take the leaderboard. How many CNCF products are in the KubeCon? Yeah, I hope, yeah. That's a bit tough. Everything plus it's right, right? I mean, logically speaking, yeah, 10 plus is correct, right? Yeah, but it is more than 150 projects. I invite you to take a look on CNCF landscape. Take a look on what is these products and what they are doing. Cool. Next question. What are the core pillars of observability in the SUSE observability leverage? Easy, easy. Yeah, metric logs and traces. Cool. Next question. Wow, great. You are getting good. And who's leading? Nitin is still leading.
Yeah. Make sure you do it right, man.
Okay, how does SUSE observability contribute to improving operational efficiency for organizations? That's it. Yeah. Amazing. And oh, Nitin lost the leaderboard. Okay. Almost last question. What are the critical aspects of observability in a Kubernetes cluster? Login tracings. Yeah. Wow. Wow. That is 100% correct. Amazing. Okay, last question. Last chance to get to the leaderboard. And 50% chance to get the correct. And so hotel is open telemetry. And I would guess yes, okay, yes. Cool. Okay, yeah. No worries, no worries. That can happen. That can happen. Okay, thank you. Let's take a look on our winners. Da-da-da-da-da. Bowen, congratulations. Come here. Okay, Bowen, you can decide. You can have a green.
Where was the options again?
Yeah, okay, let me show the options again. Just a moment. Good question. What are the options? We have these options. We have three Code Cloud 6 months access. So Code Cloud is our sponsor, and it is one of the best platform to learn cloud technologies. We have 50% discounts for Kubernetes exams, and that it is extended to the all CNCF associated certifications as well. We have one book. We have a book. We have a book. Maybe we don't have this book today. Sorry, packet didn't arrive with the book Yeah.
Check the flash then.
Okay, yeah, then you have your flash. Yeah, cool. Yes. Can you take a picture? Yeah. Yeah, this one is not for sale. Okay, second is Pavan. Pavan. So we only have more two flushes. And we still have the other options. Let me show again. Yeah, this is the options that we have. Yeah, cool. Congrats. May I have your name and email?
Yeah, sure.
Pavel.
Yeah,
Pavan. And your email, please, in the front here. Yeah, okay. That just is things. And
So basically, we get the cloud services like course kind of thing.
all the courses and platform that you learn. Yeah, if you never use, you will enjoy a lot.
Okay, I hope you
Okay.
can read it. PAVANKASHYAP.
Okay, we can take again. Can you take a picture really quickly? Just yeah. Please help me to share. Thank you. Yeah, help to share posts on the social media, especially LinkedIn, that help us to get more motivated to our sponsors to sponsor us. Okay, the third place go to Amias. Amiagash. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, congratulations, man. Yeah. Hi.
That was the catchment. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, which price do you? Code Cloud Access. Okay. Okay. That's your email.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, and your name is?
Amaya, first name is
Amaya. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Can you have a picture?
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to. Thank you very much.
Okay. And fourth place, Nitin, you did it too. Congrats. Yeah. That's man. Oh. Yeah, cool. Nitin, can you have your email later? You don't no right now. Later, it's fine. It's can you have a picture too?
Yeah, sure. Within your torches out.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, then Roy. Roy, yeah, cool. Okay, we run out of Code Cloud access. Yeah, sorry, next time probably, but we still have 3 vouchers and the geekers as well. Okay, cool. Can I get your name and email? Yeah, please. Thank you. Take a picture, Jeff. Okay. And this 6th place. Yeah, you did it again. Okay, we still have a voucher and
Yeah, all right.
yeah. Okay, then Nitesh, Yeah, we did, man. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
You need to post a photo of you.
Yeah. Okay, we still have 2 vouchers and oops, it's fine there. Oh no, or yeah, be careful. Glass on the floor, be careful. Yeah. Kelly.
Yeah.
Here. Is online? How I leave left? Maybe it's online. Online?
Yeah.
Yes, say that she
online.
on the 5th percent discount for exam. And Raj, yeah, congrats, Raj. Well done. So you got the 50% discount for exam. Can you write your email, please? I can send you.
Yep. Let me write it down.
M
Start up your account, okay?
P E L Y.
Thank you. Take a picture.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, and that's it for our quiz today. I hope everyone has enjoyed, and this is the moment for the open mic. And if anyone has anything to say, it's your moment. Okay, so thank you. Let's go for. Yeah, yes.